Okey doke. It is 10 o'clock. We should be ready to start.
You ready, Ann?
Yep, ready.
Okay. Well, thanks everybody for joining on Friday. My name is Bob Tyser. I'll chair this meeting today, so we'll call the meeting to order. Let's do a roll call real quick. Make sure we got a quorum if we can do that. So we'll start. Ann?
All right. Chief Tyser.
Here.
Bree Belke.
Here.
Major Axland.
Here.
All right. That includes all of the members.
Okay. Well, this is a subcommittee, the administrative subcommittee for the Arizona Auto Theft Authority. So we're going to take care of some business here today. But before we do that, we'd like to introduce Daryl Willis, our new executive director of AATA. Daryl comes long background from Arizona DPS, 31 years. I knew Daryl when he was a officer trainee in Prescott back in like 1993 or so. Daryl, I got that date right?
That was 1993.
Yeah, 93. I was a working highway patrol officer up here, and Daryl was a young kid coming in, and then did really good for himself, really excellent for himself, actually going through the ranks up to captain at DPS, and a long career, over 30 years, which is so honorable. Daryl, we're super happy to have you here, and you're the right man for the job, so welcome.
Thank you very much. I look forward to those of you who I don't know getting to know you. And like I said, I've known Eric for a long time. I've known Chief Tyser for a long time. Look forward to getting to know the rest of you. And I just wanted to thank Ann for putting this together and for all the hard work she did on this project, getting these new orders put together. Her and the staff of the ATA did a fantastic job. Ann has briefed me on all the updates. They look great. Of course, we're open to any suggestions. And just let us know. And with that, I'll kick it back to you, Chief.
Okay, thanks, Daryl. Welcome. Yeah, Dan, Ann, we really appreciate it. I mean, you took down, I'm not sure how many policies, dozens, bunches of them, down to 6. So anytime we can do that in government, that's awesome. We get through that. So I think they rest over in the insurance now, most of them, but the ones germane to our board, carry down to just a handful now, which is really awesome. So I'll turn it over to you for the policy updates.
All right, sounds good. Just as a housekeeping matter, I'm going to state the date, time, and location of the subcommittee meeting today. So Friday, April 11th, 10 a.m. It's a virtual meeting that we're doing by Google and phone conference. Also, for any members, subcommittee members, if you have to raise any questions or to make any motions, just make sure you introduce yourself before stating those motions. So the subcommittee meetings are only recording, and starting at our May 2nd meeting, we're just going to do recorded only meetings going forward with that, which means I don't have to take minutes anymore after 24 years. So yay. So that'll be a new procedure, and I'll do another similar reminder at the beginning of that meeting for everyone to introduce themselves. So for today's meeting, I appreciate you all being here as we review the policies. As Chief Tyser mentioned, we went from 68 policies down to 5. And most of those, as I stated in my email, were either because of the consolidation or they were no longer valid anymore. It was pretty easy to go through and take those off of our list. So the 5 that we have are the 5 main ATA policies that aren't governed under any DIFI policies. So the first one I believe we'll do is the AATA board policy. And this was one, I think I sent you all the old policy, the new policy, and what changes we had made. So we did quite a bit of cutting on this. I'm on the wrong one, sorry. No, I'm on the right one. We did quite a bit of cutting on this. There was a lot of duplication and things, and page after page of how to conduct elections. And so over the course of time from 2018 until we updated this board policy, there was just a lot of stuff that could be cleaned up. So any questions? Oh, and on the board policy, we also incorporated, this is really important to note, all of our auditor general, you know, the state's going, or the agency's going through our sunset review with the auditor general's office. So some of these policy updates were precipitated because of some suggestions that the auditors had. And so those are the main things, at least on this board policy, is we kind of beefed up our open meeting law wording, conflicts of interest, recusals for board members. There's kind of a new procedure with that, as you all might know, that there's a form you have to fill out now with recusals for any board matters that you might have a personal or financial interest in. So just some of that cleanup on that. Anybody have any questions or anything on this particular policy? I don't see any. All right. Like I said, if you all have anything you come across, we've checked and double checked. I also want to give a shout out to Daryl for coming in the middle, towards the tail end of this project, and Jamie McGuffin, who helped me immensely with this project. So they should be pretty good, but if you all see anything, don't hesitate to scan it or shoot me off an email. So, all right. So that will cover the board policy. The next one I am going to show you will be, Lynette, question for you. Do we need a motion for each of the policies, or we just do one after the presentation to cover recommendations for all 5 policies for the board?
Yeah, I think if there's agreement on all the policies, you could probably just do one motion. If there's some questions or a need for some adjustments, then you might want to pull out that policy and vote on it separately. So it may just kind of depend on if there are questions from the subcommittee members. And if not, you could just, again, potentially do one motion for all of the policies.
Perfect. Great. All right. Thank you, Lynette. All right. The next one is the responsibilities of the executive director. That was a pretty simple one that we updated. There wasn't much on that, just some cleanup on that. Any questions on the executive director responsibilities? Deal. Right. The next one will be our grant policy. The grant policy was one that, as you guys can see, was kind of a tricky one for us to do. It was one that was one big, huge policy, lots of repetition. We had, you know, we had all the different policies, law enforcement, prevention, training, grants, kind of all in one big policy. And then we had them all separate. So we all had separate policies for each of those. So we combined them all into one. The grant policy was kind of our biggest lift. So I think we've got it all kind of incorporated. Not a lot of major stuff with the grants. My notes. And a lot of the stuff that was in there was procedural stuff. So all the procedural stuff for all of these policies has been pulled out and is handled on a separate procedural file that is updated. So we took out a lot of the meat and potatoes of the nitty gritty, how to conduct a grant or how to, you know, manage a grant, separated that all out into the procedural piece of it. Any questions on the grant policy updates? Great. Awesome. The next is the grant contract compliance reviews, our CC&R review policy. This was some updates. Actually, this one was a pretty recent, in 2021 is when we kind of really started our grant CC&R process. So this one was one that just needed some updating, but we also had some auditor suggestions, auditor general suggestions as far as the review process and kind of formulating a multi-layer procedure. So we updated this policy a little bit to comply with some of their suggestions. Any questions on the CCR? Great. The last one, this was our easiest lift, is the Watch Your Car program. So the Watch Your Car program, we did not have a policy on it. We just had procedures on it. And so it was a real easy one for us to just kind of pull out some basic policy items just to cover how, what this program is and how we administer it. The nitty gritty of it is in a procedural document. So any questions on the Watch Your Car policy? Great. Well, that was pretty great and simple. I thank you all for reviewing those. This should be pretty simple for us. I guess you all will have a motion, and then we'll do a similar presentation just to recap at the May 2nd board meeting. So.
Well, thank you, Ann. I really appreciate it. Awesome work. And Daryl, thanks for jumping in, midway through that. And if you see Jamie around, please thank him for his work. I know he's probably still floating around somewhere out there. Daryl, you're probably talking to him periodically too. So please pass that on.
Absolutely.
So unless there is any additions, changes, edits to the 5 policies that Ann just presented from the group here, I would entertain a motion to pass those and provide them as recommendations at the next full AATA meeting.
This is Eric. I make a motion to pass the policies as presented for the next meeting.
Thank you, Eric. We have a motion.
Bree, I can second.
Bree has second that. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you, Ann. That motion passed. The next meeting of AATA board is on, I just want to make sure I have this right, and May 2nd, correct? Virtual meeting. And I will, as the chair of the subcommittee, I will make the presentation that we move these 5 policies forward during the full board.
Great. Thank you, Chief.
Right. Next and last item of business here is a call to the public. If there is any call to the public for the subcommittee, we'll listen now. Hearing none, we'll move to adjournment. If I could get a motion to adjourn.
This is Bree. I can move to adjourn.
Bree, we've got a first. Eric, you're getting ready to say second, right?
Yes, sir. I'll second.
Appreciate that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Well, that was very efficient as expected, Ann. Daryl, that's how she rolls here. You know that. Ann, we appreciate that. Daryl, again, welcome. And thanks everybody for being here on Friday, and look forward to seeing you on May 2nd.
Great. Thank you all.
All right. Have a great
Thank you,
weekend.
Dave. Thank you all.
Take care.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye, Bree.